And without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, the man of the hour, the season, and the planet, apparently. Chiefs tight end, Travis Kelce is here. Travis, what's up, man?
Trey, what up, dog? Chase, man. I miss you, bro.
Kels, I know, man. I miss you guys too, man. Look at this stash you got going, El Travador, man. Why'd you decide to rock that, man? I like it because you got a good beard like me. You know what I'm saying? But like, you're making me want to do the mustache right now.
It's a powerful move, man. It's a power move. Nah, man. I don't know. I feel like I've had every other facial hair in the game for at least a season or a half a season. So we'll see how long this thing rides out. But for right now, man,
awesome.
it feels electric right now.
It is electric.
I mean, without getting into detail, clearly it's working for you. So with that in mind, everyone wants to talk about this special relationship, but I think they're focusing on the wrong thing. I want to talk about the relationship between you and Patrick Mahomes, okay?
All right.
Because since he became the starter, you guys have the most receptions for quarterback and a receiver, most receiving yards, quarterback and receiver, and most touchdown catches between a quarterback and a receiver. What is it about the relationship with you and Patrick dating back to 2018 that works so well?
Man, to be honest, I think it's just a genuine love for the game and love to compete with the guys next to you. And then from there, we compete in just about everything off the field too. So it's nonstop, just always understanding a guy's competitive nature and kind of what he's thinking. And I just think it's kind of just manifested into something that the league hasn't seen before, man. And it's been fun. But a lot of what you see out there on that field is me and Pat being on the same page because of a guy named Andy Reid. So it kind of all just falls in line. So we have fun with it though, man. And that's also the biggest thing.
Well, when you were first coming into the league, obviously I was there first couple years, and then you had Alex for 4 or 5 years. And you had the transition. That's always been interesting to me. I never really got to talk to you about it, from Alex Smith, who, like, I know you have the utmost respect for, like, in my opinion, like, top 5 teammate of all time. The dude is amazing. And what he was able to do with Patrick Mahomes that year, I think it was, what year was it, 16, where he was drafted.
17,
and then
2017.
Yeah, 2017, where he was drafted. And then you knew, like, that Denver game that year when Mahomes played, like, everyone knew, like, he was going to be the guy. What was the transition like from having Alex to going to Patrick, and how easy was that of a transition? Because you guys have been to like 5 straight AFC Championship games. It's unbelievable.
Well, I think the biggest thing that Alex did was show Pat how to treat this game professionally, right? And that's what he did for me. Younger, Anthony Fasano being in the room when I was younger. Yes. Those guys really helped make me focus on my professional approach. And I think that was light years for Pat to be able to see, how it's done from one of the most studious guys in the league, one of the most accountable guys in the league. And then on top of that, one of the best teammates, like you just named, being able to waver, the ups and downs of a season and still be able to be that guy in the building every single week at the forefront of things. I think that was legendary for Pat to be able to experience that. But for me, I think it's I developed that professionalism from being around Alex, and to be honest, towards the last probably 2 to 3 years, I really started to feel the ability to not necessarily freelance, but start manipulating the routes a little bit here and there to get open for Alex. And I think when Pat kind of took over, it was just, get out there and get open, man. I don't care what this thing really looks like. Just find a way to get open. And it just, through practice and through all the training camp reps and just nonstop, working together, I think it's all kind of just meshed together, man.
Right. You mentioned Andy Reid, Big Red. Is there a line of demarcation with how much you can take this sort of creative thing? Like, we all go back to the pseudo-lateral in the AFC Championship game last year. Is there ever a line where Big Red says, don't ever do that again?
He doesn't necessarily have to even say it. He can just look at me after I do something. I already know when I do it. I'm just like, he's looking at me. And sure enough, over there and staring right at me, giving me
the stank eye.
Got that thing. Let's reel it back in here. Demarcation, though, man, I'm gonna have to look that one up. I think what Coach Reid does best, though, is his ability to have a disciplined system and have the respect out of everybody in the room. Still keep everybody in line and kind of inside of those parameters of getting too loose. And me and Pat both, we appreciate that freedom to be able to go out there and just try and make plays. But we know this offense, when it's fine tuned and everybody's just doing their job, like Coach Reid teaches it, it's damn good just by itself. So.
With that in mind, like you're in another transition year here, right? You lose Tyreek last year, and you guys come out on fire. Pat throws 5 against the first week against the Cardinals. He ends up leading the league in passing touchdowns, passing yards, sets a single season record for most single yards in an NFL season. We're in another transition here with a whole different bunch of wide receivers. Where are you on the maturation process of these guys, which clearly have talent in Tony and Rashee Rice and all these guys, and Sky Moore trying to find his way? But where are you on these receivers sort of getting on the same page that you and Pat are on?
Yeah, I mean, well, with that comes reps, man. You got to have reps, and that's why off-season, the OTAs, training camp, when Pat hosts these sessions in Texas or what'll probably be his house next year now that he's got the field out back.
And the golf course.
And
nice little hole.
Go straight from the practice field to the golf course. No, it just takes reps. It takes understanding, and it takes hearing the conversations between, Pat and Marquez Valdes-Scantling, or Pat and the other quarterbacks, or hearing Coach Reid install these plays so many times that it's just ingrained in your mind what's capable and what you're allowed to do versus certain coverages. And I think these guys are learning really fast. You see the spurts of them having big time plays and big time moments for us. And that's what's exciting, man. You see the kind of the manifestation of their ability to understand it and then go out there and perform it. And it's not a fast process by any means, but I think these guys are picking up on it quicker than we've seen in the past, for sure.
And that's, Trav, that's the biggest thing too, like with these young receivers, and I go back and I tell people this all the time, like Andy Reid, in my opinion, as a coach that I've had, because I've been on a lot of teams, played 14 years, to me, he's like the best actual teacher of the game. We can go back into all the quarterbacks he's had, how much he gets out of them. Like, what have you seen? And this is interesting to me. Like, I don't even care about the viewers. Like, I want to talk to you because I just want to know, like, the process on when we first got there, 13, 14, and 15. How has it changed and evolved since he's been there? Because the game has changed, obviously, but also, like, I'm sure he stayed true to himself. I mean, you were just telling me what you guys were doing on Tuesday walkthrough. It's exactly what we were doing back in 14 and 15 to keep ahead of the schedule. Like, what have you seen change from Big Red moving forward?
Honestly, his ability to be open to, his understanding to be open to doing more stuff a certain way. He's nonstop thinking of ways to keep evolving. Yeah. And I think that's the greatest thing when you're a play caller, when you're creating these plays and all of it, and it's don't get me wrong, it's not just him. I got to give a shout out to all the coaches in the building for kind of being on board and everybody being in sync with each other for the run game to match up with the pass game in the base, and then for third down to make sense for guys, understanding what coverages are possible and things like that. And then situational football, I think Coach Reid's always been the best in the game when it comes to third downs, third and short, when the game's on the line, big time plays. I think he's always been the best prepared for those situations and has always had us prepared better than everybody else. But just in terms of the offense, I mean, I came in, we were a very, I-back formation, kind of that true West Coast, started to do a little bit of the up-tempo and air raid offense or the spread offense, started to do some zone reads with Alex Smith in there. And then it slowly started to become that new wave of the RPOs, the run-pass options. And once we started doing that, all of a sudden, instead of being an inline tight end, I started to kind of separate from the line of scrimmage a little bit more on first and second down in the base packages. And I was stealing 1 or 2 catches just in the run game. You know what I mean? And that was huge. That was huge to be able to get those big plays or those 10 to 15-yard plays on a first down. And so it's just been fun to see Coach Reid be open to evolving this thing based on the pieces that he has. And Sure enough, when Pat got here, it just kind of opened the floodgates to be able to do anything on any down.
Yeah.
So.
You don't say.
And another thing too, Kels, we were talking about it over text, like Nagy, dude. Having Nagy back in the building, and what kind of effect has he had? Because he was there, he was the quarterback coach for me when I was there. He was the offensive coordinator, left for the Bears, obviously come back. What has he brought to the building? Because I know guys love him, I know you love him, and it was awesome a couple weeks ago to see him get that win for the Bears. I tweeted out Matt Nagy revenge game. Like a lot of people weren't understanding it. Like go, like this guy's my guy, you know.
Everybody in the building and those Nags know we had to get that one for him, man. But you know, I think what Coach Nagy brings to the table is kind of what we just mentioned about what Coach Reid brings, and that's the ability to teach the game. Yeah. You know, you're not just going out there saying, let's go run a slant. Why are we calling slant? You know, how should you run it against this defender or this defense? You know, and I think Coach Nagy does a great job of explaining that. So it helps get everybody else on the same page and doing the same things. And, you know, it's just it's been the best, man, because you can't name a better person, a better guy to go out there and battle with, because you know he's always gonna have your back, man.
Yeah.
Look, the Chiefs have always been about offense in this Patrick Mahomes era, but this is the best defensive unit you guys have had since Patrick Mahomes has been there. And despite the fact that he called you Jamie Kennedy from Malibu's Most Wanted, you have a relationship with Chris Jones, man. You literally tried to broker that deal to get him in there. He's back. And you look at this defense you have Jones and Karlaftis and Dana up front. Willie Gay, Leo Chenal, and Nick Bolton when he comes back healthy from the linebacking core. And the cornerbacks and safeties you guys drafted in 2022 has been remarkable. What's it like for you as an offensive player knowing, hey, we don't have to score 35, knowing these guys will have our back?
Yeah, I haven't even thought of it like that. I think of it as like, man, we should be blowing teams out right now. And that's kind of the mentality that I have. Like, our defense is keeping teams under, 21 points, 3 scores every single game. We should be at least putting up 30 a game. And that's just the pride that I have and the ability that I have in the offense and the skill players that we got. So it's just, that's kind of the mentality. And we haven't been able to, just put an entire 4 quarters together. The Bears game was probably the closest to it. And, that was a good win for us. But we know that, just moving forward, that we got to keep building this thing. And guys are going to keep finding their role. They're going to keep finding their role and where they can make plays and where they can step up. And that's the fun of it, man. That's the fun of it. You see guys, I get more excited for these young guys to get catches than I do for myself. So it's a fun time, man.
It certainly is, and it all started because you caught a touchdown pass over the middle, I believe, against the Bengals from this guy Chase Daniel, your first official. So really, Chase is the reason for everything here, right?
Let's just be real. I'm the first guy.
Remember it forever, baby. A little 2-minute drill to end the half. Take it to the crib.
Do you remember? Okay. Do you remember the play call?
It was trips right Madden. It was 2, and then we bunched it.
We bunched it, and you outran a safety. And I tell you what, honestly, with you and the trainer on the sideline, because you had just come back from injury, that, I'm getting chills, dude. I'm getting chills about it. Yes, Glover. And
I didn't even know I could run that fast anymore.
No one did. No one did. And I'm telling you, after injury, he was the guy who got you right, dude. I'm getting chills thinking about it because it was one of the coolest things I've ever seen. On the field, you were excited, but as soon as you went off the field, you went right up to him and embraced him. Dude, that was the coolest moment I've ever seen.
I appreciate that, man. That was you already know, man. Injuries, you never know how you can come back from injuries or whether, and just that was the confidence boost that I needed to just keep moving forward, man. That was a fun one, brother. Appreciate it. Pass, baby, right in the gut.
Right in the gut.
I think people need to understand how football geeky this just was. Like this was a play that happened in 2015, 14. When was this play? Right?
This was 14, yeah, 14.
2014, and you guys both remembered the frickin' play call from a preseason game.
Oh yeah, it was electric, man. It was electric.
That's insane. That's insane. Well, look, I know we don't want to take too much of your time, but you mentioned injury. Real quickly, how nervous were you before the first game when you sort of hyperextended that knee? Were you going through worst case scenarios?
I've never felt like an old fart ever in my life until that moment.
Welcome to the rest of your life, brother.
Yeah.
And you know what it was? It was karma, because we were on New Heights with the show with my brother. We were on there talking about how his wife, now a retired field hockey coach, or a field hockey player, now a coach, got banged up or got injured trying to like play and just reminisce on her glory days. And sure enough, here I am going out there, just running a casual route, throwing my foot in the ground, nonchalant, and hyperextending my knee. And I honestly, it wasn't easy to deal with, because I put pride in myself being out there every single week, and even that, like honing in on the details of practice and route running and purposeful movement. And sure enough, not being able to get out there for my teammates, knowing that we had a young roster, and especially in this all the skill positions. I don't know, just not being out there. That was a tough one to watch, man.
Well, you've made up for it in the game since. So, look, we appreciate your time, Travis. You and I go way back. You've always been great to me, and you've always been great to Chase. So thanks for being with us. But before we let you go, I just have to say this one thing, okay?
What do you got?
I'm on record. There's a rant from 3 weeks ago. Chase asked me a certain question and said, I do not care. Like, I do not care. It doesn't matter to me. It matters to a lot of people. I do not care. You can find that rant. We'll send it to you. But I'm just curious, did you ever think it would become the thing that it became? Did that ever cross your mind? Did you understand the concept of what we were entering here?
I had no idea, man. I had no idea. You can't tell me that anybody else did either, but I can't be mad at how it's all played out. I'll say that.
Well, if you are, you're an idiot. So good. I'm glad. And you, my friend, are no idiot. Look, yeah. Travis, we appreciate the time, brother. Keep balling, and we'll catch up with you soon, okay?
You're the best, Trey. Chase,
thank
love
you,
you, brother.
Appreciate you, bro.